Welcome back to my series called E-commerce Agency Wisdom, where I speak to people in the industry in the e-commerce space and ask them for little nuggets of wisdom that they've learned along the way. And the title of the series is called What I'd Wish I Knew About whatever the topic is. And today we're joined by James from Triple Whale, and we're going to talk about the idea of intentional partnership. So E-commerce Agency Wisdom, What I Wish I Knew About Intentional Partnerships. So over to you, James.
Thank you very much, Rachel. It's a subject that I've been thinking about a lot moving into 2025. For context, I sort of moved into the partnerships world at the start of last year. And I think a big part of that year was learning for me. I've been in the e-com space for the best part of 10 years and obviously been aware of partnerships. But I think actually when you get your feet under the table and start doing it, it takes a lot of learning. And the reason intentional partnerships has been something that's been very forefront of my mind moving into this year is I think what I've been seeing a lot of in the industry is a lot of what you might call kind of spray and pray approach to partnerships, which is essentially one business partnering with another business for partnership's sake. And I think though some elements of those sorts of relationships may have benefits, in general, I think realistically, when we're trying to ensure that both parties get the maximum value out of a partnership, which obviously should be the outcome that we're all desiring, I think it's really important to make sure that there is intentionalism behind what you're doing. And what I mean by that, I know it's a word I've thrown around a few times now already, but what that really means to me is, really actually taking a step back and making sure that there is a real strategic focus in everything you do in terms of that partnership. And that starts from the very, very beginning. Me personally as a partnerships manager on the tech side, one of the first things that I will always do, and something that I've done a lot of work at the start of this year, is really identifying across 2025, who are some key partners that I really, really want to work with and build a relationship across the course of this year. But really making sure I understand why I want to have a relationship with those agencies, as opposed to it being, oh, this is a good agency that everyone knows. Oh, let's go and build a partnership. I think there needs to be a rationale behind why that partnership is going to begin. Example of that would be, really trying to identify partners that are going to help you to move the needle in your role. So one of the pieces of work I've done around that is, who are some key clients, for example, that Triple Well would love to have on board, doing a bit of an account map, identifying the key partners that they work with, and then using that as an opportunity for me to identify some target agencies for me to work with. But then kind of once we've done that ideation phase and worked out who it is that we want to be working with, it's then a case of really actually making sure that during those initial conversations, we're not just going, hey, do you want a partner? Yeah, cool. We're Triple Well. You're so and so. Let's have a partner. Here's our partnership program. Here are some links. See you later. I think it's really important, and this probably leans back into my sales background potentially, but I really like to spend a lot of time going and visiting the agency, getting under the hood of the business. What are their focuses for the year? What are our focuses for the year? When we talk about partnerships, we hear a lot about the aligning of goals. And though I think that's really, really important, I think there also needs to be space for making sure we understand what each other's goals are for that year. An example of that might be, I know for a lot of agencies, business development is a big focus for them this year because 2024 was tough in the industry. Now, the more I can understand about their approach to business development, the more we can have a structured conversation around how actually a partnership with Triple Well could help to support them with that business development effort. And these are the sorts of conversations that I mean around that intentionalism, because then what that allows us to do is it allows us to go, okay, great. So in this quarter, what we'll focus on is building out the relationship, enablement sessions, making sure the team's up to speed, all of these sorts of good things. But then moving on from there, how do we look at co-marketing? But what sort of co-marketing do we need to do to get you the access that you need to support with that business development? I could give you plenty of examples, but I don't want to waffle on too long. And then the other point that I think is really, really key here is real clarity and transparency in communication. Now, the challenge with this piece is that differs on a case by case basis. And I think that every relationship in a partnerships world, especially when they're being intentional, needs to be treated on an individual basis. There's not a one size fits all approach, and especially not a one size fits all approach when you look at Europe or the UK. It is very relationship based, but that communication needs to be transparent. There needs to be this clear understanding, as I've mentioned, of each other's businesses and a clear communication channel for that. But then also not just whacking in a quarterly call, making sure that depending on what the needs and requirements are of that relationship, that there is a communication channel that supports that. And so, yeah, I think those are kind of some of the key areas that I'm really focusing on for 2025, really trying not to overstretch myself and go chasing off down different rabbit holes, but actually really, really drilling down and being intentional in those relationships, because I feel like that is where everybody is going to win.
Yeah, I think in general, whether it's in partnerships, and this applied to tech partnerships or agency partnerships, it really, I think it's about alignment, because ultimately if what you're looking to achieve and what I'm looking to achieve, in this case with e-commerce partnerships, with the agency community that I have and what Triple Whale are looking to achieve this year, there's an alignment in what I'm doing and what you guys are looking for. So it's a win-win situation. My agencies are happy working with great partners. My community gets supported and we're able to run all these amazing events, and you then get to achieve your goals. So we have that alignment. I speak to lots of tech partners in the industry, and most of them I turn down because, number one, they don't have any idea. When people say to me, I just want to get as many agencies in the funnel as possible, it's a big red flag, hard no, because they don't understand partnerships. When partners tell me that, yeah, no, I'm only allowed to put money behind this if there's a brand attachment to it, or there's some sort of brand, that I can link to that, that's a hard no, because they don't understand agency channel and how it works. And the other thing, there's a really hard no, is not measuring anything. So if I say, okay, well, what were your engagements last year? What did you invest in? What was the return on investment you got on these specific types of events? Oh, not really too sure. Okay, fine. Then I'm not going to waste your money or my time. So I think being really intentional, first, that starts with you. I feel like you have to know that these are our goals, these are our expectations, this is what we're hoping to achieve. And if you're clear with yours and they're also clear with theirs, at that stage, then you could look at both blueprints and say, okay, is there a crossover here? And if there's crossover, okay, let's see if we can dance, if we can make sweet music together. If not, it's not to be. Maybe it's in the future, but not for right now. And I think that there's so many people on both sides, tech partners that are being throwing stupid money around, sponsoring stuff they shouldn't be sponsoring. Agencies that are putting their hand out, taking the money from partners to sponsor stuff that they don't even know how to pull these events together. And it's leaving a bad taste in both people's mouths. Another wee bit of advice I would say as well for a tech partner, if you're looking to get behind an agency with any of these investments you're making with agencies, make sure they have some sort of sales engine. If they don't have a sales engine, it's probably not going to be one of those core agencies that you can build on. Unless that they're focused on sales and bringing sales into their funnel, then it's not going to be fruitful for you. You're just going to take whatever it is that they have coming their way, and whatever is coming their way is what they're going to close. And that is not really an agency that's working on growth, is what I would say.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with that. And I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head around that alignment piece as well. I think, yes, one of the examples I gave was being very intentional around, what I'm looking at doing in terms of making sure that I'm giving the right value and the right time to the right agencies. But I think also as well, like you say, how does that link back even further? What are the goals that both of those different parties are looking at achieving? And then, yeah, like you say, if they cross over, can we dance?